We are doing our project on pfSense. This is Jeremy Cunningham, Eric Randall, and Casey Shearer. Jeremy and Eric put together our presentation, and then I'm going to present it and record it so we can upload it. pfSense was created in September 2004 by Chris Buchler and Scott Ulrich. Chris got his experience working on the Firewall Project, which is an embedded firewall that boots entirely out of RAM. pfSense is open source firewall/router computer software distributed based on FreeBSD. It is installed on a physical computer or a virtual machine to make it dedicated firewall/router for a network. It is noted for its reliability and offering features often only found in expensive commercial firewalls. Some of its features include that it's a stateful firewall, network address translation, filtering by its source/destination IP address, protocol OS/network fingerprinting. It's a flexible routing, has pre-rule configuration logging and pre-rule limiters, layer 7 protocol inspection, has packet scrubbing, layer 2 bridging capability, state table up to several 100,000 states, and state table algorithm customizable, including low latency and low dropout. Fortunately, like a lot of applications and programs out there, that there's always some downsides to it. pfSense cons include a few of such. Not as simple and easy to understand as other firewalls. It's a lot more complex and time consuming. You have to really understand it to get it working versus just drag and drop or plug and play. Time and effort are required to become accurately familiar with using it, especially when installing add-on packages. Add-on packages and package updating are complex. Some add-on packages just don't produce the desired result, and updating the package sometimes can cause issues. The situation has improved as the distribution has matured, but pfSense continues to release buggy alpha-level packages in the add-on repository as finished add-ons. While packages like Snort and Squid function properly, others like Mod Security don't work at all. So there's definitely some improvements to be made there. Installation, like all applications, there's a process for doing that. pfSense runs on a kernel of NanoBSD based on FreeBSD, so installation requires either a virtual machine or a clean PC. Also requires 2 Ethernet cards to operate properly. You can easily down ISO from here. One nice thing Eric was telling me, you can put it on a flash drive and run it completely off flash drive, since the installs are pretty small. I was going to have Eric go ahead and, since he's run some of this, go ahead and show you guys an example of how to install it for you. Eric, if you'd like to take over and just say next when you want me to go to the next slide.
Okay. So when booting up and installing pfSense, it does require either a virtual machine or an old PC that you can easily turn into a pretty robust firewall. You get this initial screen when booting up from the ISO image, either from a floppy or bootable thumb drive. And it's just, as you can see, it's pretty basic when it comes to the character interface. And you get to this, to the beginning where it says press 99 to install. So you do hit 99 and you install the application. Go ahead and hit next. It's going to take us to this next installation screen. Looks very similar to the old DOS days, the blue and character screen. What we did at the beginning is just did the default settings. So we just accepted the default. You can go in and customize video, screen mapping, different key mappings for either different languages or just different setups. Depending on your requirements, but the default setting seems to work best for the majority of people. Go ahead and next. Okay, so we did a quick install. Now, again, you can do a custom install or you can rescue a config if you are trying to recover a backup installation of a pfSense instance that you've already had. Either that's gone corrupt because of a poor plugin or just hard drive, you lost a hard drive or something like that, hardware failure. We just did the quick and easy install, and go ahead and hit next. After it goes through and installs a bunch of stuff, we get to the reboot screen. We're going to go ahead and hit reboot, and
I think I lost you there for a minute, Eric.
yeah, just it gets to the reboot screen after doing a standard kernel installation, and then we just let it do its reboot. So go ahead and hit reboot. Next. It's going to come up into the character screen after it boots. This is where you set a few starter configuration settings. Mainly what we used it for was to set the IP addressing for our WAN and LAN interfaces. This is why it's required to have 2 Ethernet ports, one for the incoming and one for the outgoing. You can virtualize this with some virtualization systems. However, not all work really well with the virtualized NICs, so it's always good to have physical NICs assigned to it. So all I did is I just configured it with some base IP addresses and set the WAN TCP. Go ahead and hit next. Once this is done and it reboots again, it kind of just runs on your system. From there, you can connect into the web interface using the IP address that you gave it on the LAN interface, and it gives the dashboard. Now, it does have a base configuration for the firewall. There are plugins, like Casey said, many of which are really robust and work great. Others, not so much. With it being an open sourced firewall, you're going to get this. There is some software control and quality control when it comes to the plugins. However, not to the sense of, say Apple. There are some things that still slip through that work for some people, but don't work for the majority of people, or don't work for even half the people. So it does require some understanding and knowledge to install these plugins. It is difficult. It's not just plug and play. Everything is on that side of things when you're installing the plugins, character-based. But once you're in the dashboard, you have different settings, interfaces, different firewall settings, services. You can set up a VPN. You can have it do diagnostics and stuff on your network. You can set up antivirus and many other plugins for it. It's pretty robust. The learning curve on pfSense is quite high. If you're just doing a base installation of it, it's pretty easy to get going. However, using it to its full potential requires a lot of understanding and knowledge. Go ahead and hit next. The installation is complete. Some things I've noted down after the installation. Like I said, it does require some knowledge and understanding of the system. It comes with a base configuration, which is good for the beginner. However, it does have many robust settings for the security expert. I went to pfsense.org support. They have a few FAQs, and then they also have some classes and documentation on pfSense. However, it does require a membership. This is where they get their money. This is how the community is supported, is by a gold membership. That gives you access to the documentation and support. And then even above and beyond that, you can actually, they have pfSense University, where you can sign up for classes that are held online or at other conventions or other places that you can attend to learn how to configure pfSense. Those also cost an additional fee. So to get it going, to get it started, it's free and it's open source for the plugins and stuff. However, learning how to use it and having the knowledge of other people that know how to use it teach you, that's where it costs money. I was able to find a few walkthroughs on just by Googling pfSense and found some how-to YouTube videos on how to do some basic installations and setups of some VPNs and some antivirus and other plugins that are built for pfSense. So if if you have the time to search and to find some good sources that way, those are other free sources that you can do.
Well, with a
That's
lot of
about it.
applications out there, you have to buy them straight up, and then you find out either it works or it doesn't work for you. With PFSense, at least you can play around with it, see if it might be more fitted towards you, and then spend the money to get more involved into it, which is kind of
Exactly.
nice with a lot of open source stuff out there. But
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's a pretty small footprint. It doesn't, like I said, it can run on a flash drive. You can make the Nano BSD boot from a flash drive. I had it running in a virtual machine, and it didn't take up very much space at all. But like I said, you can turn even an old Dell PC that you have laying around, some old Pentium 4 box. You could have it do PFSense, and it would be just as good a firewall as some of the ones that you can buy these days for tens of thousands of dollars. Like it's definitely pretty robust in its ability to be a firewall. However, you just need to know your stuff when you're talking PFSense. That's
well,
about it for me.
we thank you
Casey,
guys for paying attention and listening, and we hope that you learned a lot from this.